I don't want to talk about Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year is the least of what Paul Skenes should be considered right about now. Good morning to you. Good Monday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday if you're into football and or hockey. I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Pirates 2, Reds nothing. Yesterday in Cincinnati, Skenes put up 5 of those zeros while striking out 9 and lowered his ERA to 1.99. Now, if this were some kind of batting title race, we'd be talking about having so-and-so, sit for a few games or whatever to make sure that number stays where it is. As it is, there's no reason to believe Skenes won't make his next and final start next weekend in the Bronx against the Yankees. And there's also no reason to believe that he won't lower that ERA even further. As it is, that ERA, the 1.99, makes him just the second player since 1913 to put up an ERA of less than 2.00 through 22 career appearances, all of those being starts, along with former Montreal great Steve Rogers, who had a 1.95 through 22. Skenes also has 167 strikeouts, the 5th most by a pitcher in their first 22 career appearances. Listen to the other names that are in this bracket: Hideo Nomo, Kerry Wood, Mark Pryor, and Doc Gooden. Skenes has allowed 6 or fewer hits in each of his 22 career starts. Among pitchers who have debuted since 1893, the 22-start streak matches the 4th longest stretch in big league history to open a career. I don't want to hear about Jackson Merrill in San Diego. Look, Merrill lit up the Pirates, okay? We all saw it. We don't have to wonder whether or not Merrill's a real live, promising young dude for the Padres. We also don't have to wonder if Merrill is doing something historic for the Padres. He's not. He's not. I say that respectfully. I say that with great admiration, actually. Kid floored me in both of his meetings with the Pirates. But if you take his stats, just as a fun exercise, and you compare them to Brian Reynolds' rookie stats, not his current stats, his rookie stats, and you recall that Reynolds wasn't even a finalist for National League Rookie of the Year, you're starting to see what the context is here. Skenes was asked after the game yesterday in Cincinnati how he'd react to being Rookie of the Year, and his answer was exactly what you've learned to expect from him.
It'll be cool. I haven't thought about it a ton, but it'd be pretty cool, especially in my first professional season. Just adjusting to the league, and I think I've done a pretty good job of it, and that'd be a cool honor to have.
There it is. It's sitting there. If I get it, great. If I don't, whatever. There's just not much there that's ever going to blow him away. But at the same time, you'll never see him back off from any question that has something to do with being great. Why? Because he knows that's where his bar is, and that's where his bar has to remain, as all the great ones do. Now, if I sound silly using a term like that, meaning great, to apply to someone so young, so new, and so quickly whizzed up the minor league ladder, I'm not about to apologize for that. This kid's the exception to all the rules. This kid's one of those that you say, okay, he's special, he's generational, he's great. He can be, he should be great, regardless of whether he's playing for the Pirates or for some other team, regardless of whether he's playing for people who don't know what they're doing or whether he's playing for people who happen to be really good at their jobs. Among other things that impressed me over the course of this summer, he never wavered in his commitment to the team that's around him. If there was any inkling of frustration with all of the losing, with all of the visible incompetence around him. I didn't detect it in the slightest. And maybe more will be expected of him in that regard in the future. He's going to be a leader of this team, if not the leader of this team. That's his character. That's his background. That's what everyone who's known him for more than the past year and change says will happen. But as a rookie, I am just blown away by everything about Paul Skenes in 2024, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for him. When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragecheck.org. That's gunstoragecheck.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Kyle, who says, DK, the Reds just took 2 of 3 from the Pirates, and they have the better record, and yet they just fired their manager, David Bell, after 6 seasons. He had a .473 winning percentage in Cincinnati. Derek Shelton's winning percentage is .414. Is this a joke, or can we draw parallels? First off, for anybody who didn't stay up last night or stay in touch with baseball news, the Reds did in fact fire Bell. I'm pretty sure it wasn't because he lost to Skenes, but rather the body of work. That said, I don't cover the Reds, I don't care about the Reds, and I'm not going to pretend to care about either in this context. What's more, I don't care about firing Shelton. Look, I don't go over the top in trying to convince anybody to share views that I put forth. I share my own. If you find them interesting, thought-provoking, insane, thoughtless, whatever, if you're listening, there's probably some good that comes from these podcasts for you, and that's the part that I appreciate. So I don't try to make you think like I do. So if you think that firing Shelton does some good for this organization, meaning just firing Shelton, I'm quite comfortable sharing with you that I'm 180 degrees in the opposite direction, meaning that they all need to go or nothing's going to change. Ben Cherington has shown you who he is and what he is as a general manager. He's shown you that when he does make a change of any kind, the replacement comes in exactly the same form and it stays with exactly the same process. And that's what would happen here. The batting approach, for example, that everyone in Pittsburgh pans, and not without cause, isn't the result of something that Andy Haynes thought of. It's certainly not the result of something Shelton thought of. It's Cherington's. He believes in the passive approach. He believes it's okay for his batters to fish for a walk and a 2-strike count with a pitch that's coming in on the borderline. He believes that. He doesn't see how having an aggressive mindset, even if it doesn't necessarily work all the time, can benefit a hitter by making them more adept at ... gasp, hitting. So when you or someone else, Kyle, brings up firing Shelton, you're going in one ear of mine and right out the other. I don't even want to hear it because you're wasting your time in wishing for that since nothing will change. You're wasting my time with it since I've only mentioned about 1,000 times that firing Shelton will do nothing. And I don't believe it's a cause worth even mentioning, much less advancing. You're handing them, the people who've actually run the franchise into the ground over the past 5 years, carte blanche. You're handing them their scapegoat. And I also don't know how much more obvious it can be that that's exactly what they're looking for. That's why they fired the pro scouting director and the Latin American scouting director and somebody who was, I think, in charge of the analytics, probably whoever had the audacity to recommend Brian Dela Cruz at the trade deadline. But that's not an answer. It's just not. So don't worry about what the Reds are doing. Don't worry about what the Cardinals are doing or anybody else. The only precedent that anybody needs to be referencing in this scenario is that on the final day of the 2019 season, Bob Nutting himself directly walked into Clint Hurdle's office and fired him. And that was supposed to be the end of it. And then a lot of people, and I most definitely was among them in my work, began making an awful lot of noise about, you've got to be kidding. That's it? That's what you've got? Nutting, to his credit, took a deeper look, and then a deeper look, and then kept going, and I'm not guessing at this. And once he'd completed all of his various deeper looks, guess who got fired? That's right, all of them. You don't need to look to Cincinnati. It happened right here. It was the right thing to do. It cost $17.2 million in basically dead money, meaning money for those guys to go away on guaranteed contracts. And from there, he had a chance to try again. Well, he did. It didn't work. That doesn't mean you perpetuate the mistake. I do appreciate the question. Please don't take this in any way other than that. I just happen to have my own pretty strong feelings on this subject, and as I said earlier, I'll respect yours. Let's do this again tomorrow.